Alright, welcome back to the channel. As you all know, my name is Alan. I own two former emergency services vehicles, a 2010 Chevrolet Impala, a 2008 Ford Crown Victoria. Anyway, today is auction day. And what makes today really nice is two things. One, the weather is really nice today. I think it started out in the mid 60s this morning, so woo! Feeling good about that. It's nice and comfortable outside. I don't have to sweat as soon as I step out the door, which is really good. The other thing that's really good is Pasco County. Yeah, the Pasco County from Live PD, they're selling a bunch of vehicles, so it should be interesting to see what that stuff sells for. Anyway, let's get to it. Alright, so I just got back. What I'm going to do now is show you guys some of the interesting things, some of the interesting vehicles that we saw out there. There was a lot of Chevrolet Impalas, several Ford Crown Victorias. There hasn't been a lot here recently that were out there. So that was kind of neat to see. It was kind of a treat because it kind of makes you feel like it's a few years ago, back when Crown Vics were everywhere for sale. But yeah, there was a lot of vehicles with push bars, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, let's check that stuff out. One of the first things I saw was a crashed Dodge Charger. It was a newer one. It had the new Weston giant wraparound push bumper on the front of it that was kind of mangled. So that was kind of neat. And then one of the other things that was actually, I guess, left on there that is almost never left on a highway patrol car was the big old knobby antenna that's on the back of that thing. Though it's like a puck on steroids, or maybe Viagra. Anyway, it's kind of weird to see that. I remember somebody was asking, who makes that thing, so I kind of looked all around it, and yeah, there was no name on that actual antenna, so I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. If anybody out there knows who makes that goofy antenna, please drop a comment below. I'd like to know. I know there's a bunch of people out there that are just kind of genuinely curious. One of the other things we saw was a pile of scrap metal, and I think that's the best way to describe it, because the push bars with the wraparounds, the cage plates, the window bars, I think some of the window bars were still quote-unquote usable. They didn't look like they were badly damaged upon removal. And there was, I think, out of all of the push bars that were laying in the group, there was two that weren't, I guess, sliced off. So they actually had the little metal tab still, where you could actually, if you had the brackets on your car, you could actually reattach it. But most of them looks like somebody just took a saw and just hacked them off. Same thing with the cages. A lot of those cages had basically pieces chopped off when they just took them out of the car. So another thing that I want to show you guys is there was just a whole bunch of cars. So there was a bunch of Dodge Chargers there, a whole bunch of just different vehicles. There was a bunch of Tahoes, which is kind of cool. So I guess we'll go ahead and check some of those out. Funny story with this one. The kid that won this car was really happy. Really, really, really happy. I don't know who he was, but he seemed stoked to get this thing. One thing I'd like to add about that Crown Vic, that gray Crown Vic, it was kind of interesting because there was a few people bidding on that vehicle. There was actually several Crown Vics that were kind of different, non-white colored Crown Vics. So I think there was a gray one, a silver one, a blue one, and one that was black that wasn't like half ruined, like spray paint black. It was like actually originally OEM black. So that first gray one, when it got sold, it was just, I don't know how many of you kind of reflect back on your first car, but I don't know if this was this guy's first car. He looked kind of young. That's why I kind of muttered and said he was a kid, because he looked like he was probably 16. He might have been 18, I don't know, but he looked young. But it was him and a couple of friends, and when they won that thing, man, it was just the coolest thing. I thought it was cool because it reminded me, when you first get your first car, especially if you're a car person, like you like cars, they were immediately high-fiving each other, like, yeah, oh yeah. And actually some people in the I guess, in the auction there around him just kind of giggled a little bit because, you know, it's kind of neat to see. And of course, a couple people are muttering, "Oh, you overpaid for that." But here's the thing: if you buy something and you're happy with the price, you didn't overpay for it. Just because somebody else thinks you paid too much for it doesn't mean you did. Because if you're happy with the price and you're satisfied with the purchase, that means you paid the right amount for it. Now, if you start having some buyer's remorse afterwards, you're like, man, maybe I paid too much, then yeah, maybe you paid too much. But if you're happy with the purchase price, that's all that matters. So obviously there were some people in the crowd that probably wouldn't have paid as much as you did. And I don't think you paid that much for it, whoever you are. You know, I don't know if I ever mentioned it in any of my videos or anything, but the Crown Vic that I got, people were going to probably scream and be like, you paid way too much for that vehicle. My winning bid was $3,100. And I was willing to go that high because of the equipment that was in the vehicle. Because I know that if I go out and purchase all that equipment and then try to figure out how to hook it all up and figure out all that madness, it would just be, that to me is worth $1,000 in itself. So that takes a vehicle that would normally be worth, to me, about $2,000 and makes it worth more like $3,000. So that's why I was willing to pay that much for it. So I guess what I'm getting at is, you know, whatever you pay for a vehicle or pay for anything in life, as long as you're happy with it, it's a fair price. That's really all that matters. So just wanted to throw that out there because it was cool watching those guys, man. They're pretty happy about that win. And you don't see that too often at the auction, especially with the police vehicles. Usually it's like cab companies and resellers that are buying these things up. So it's kind of cool to see somebody, you know, a direct end user buying the vehicle and being really happy about their purchase. So whoever you are, man, good luck with that car. I hope you enjoy it. If you happen to see this video, maybe we'll meet up sometime. I don't know, but that's good stuff, man. I wish I could have got your reaction on camera because that was priceless. Another interesting thing that I saw at the auction was actually an old airport authority law enforcement Tahoe. And yeah, it was kind of interesting. So check this out. Here's kind of a rarity. This came from the airport. Here we go. Airport police. Still got a spotlight. I guess the mirror beams. I don't know if you can see in the grill, but there's a couple lights in there too. Oh, there's a speaker too. Speaker. Kind of neat. Definitely don't see many Tahoes with the mirror lights still on them. They took all the other stuff off though. As you can see in the video, you know, there's definitely some mirror beams left on that. There's some residual lighting left on the vehicle. I did notice in the back that there was brackets for lights, so they ripped out all the other stuff. I guess they just forgot about the stuff in the grill, or maybe just didn't care to reach in there and pry that stuff out. But it was just kind of neat because you don't typically see vehicles with mirror beams with the lights still stuck in them. So I guess whoever gets that might want to pull those off and sell them, because I'm sure there's somebody else out there that would buy that in a heartbeat, especially for a Tahoe. So. Yeah, they literally said that you got to take the star off the windshield if you want to drive this down the road. I'm pretty sure one of these cars over here went for like $600. One of the Crown Vics down here went for like $800. I think it was damaged. I think it was that second one. But yeah, all these cars that need paint work were selling for like, you know, $800 to $1,500. Pretty incredible. And of course, they took the headlights out of most of these. So considering how cheap these sold, I'm sure there'll be some push bars in the junkyard soon. And they got the nice dome lights. East Coast Classics, this one's for you. This sold for 8 G's, $8,000. The Holden Statesman, or whatever it is, Commodore, marked as a Caprice. Trying to see. There you go. 95. I don't know if you can see that. 95,000 miles. Almost 96. All in all, it was fun going to this auction. I love checking these auctions out. Sometimes they hold them about once a month. I don't go to every single one of them, but you know, today I just got the itch and I was like, man, I got to go out there and check this thing out. You know, that, and I did see, you know, one Caprice there. There was a bunch of Tahoes, a bunch of vehicles with push bars. So I was just kind of interested to see where the pricing was. I'm looking at you, Sarasota County. They did a really good job decommissioning some of their vehicles. They had some Impalas there, and one of their Impalas sold for $4,000, which is actually on the high end for that particular auction. I've seen them in that auction go typically around $3,000. But you know, as I said, it just depends on the crowd that's there. Some people buy it for much higher than you think it's worth, and other people will pay almost nothing. So, as I noted, the Caprice that was there from Sarasota County went for $8,000, and it was very nicely decommissioned. They did a really good job getting the decals off of it without messing up the paint. They put nice plugs in it, you know, covered everything up, and all in all, it looked like a very nicely maintained vehicle. So somebody out there paid 8 G's for it, which, you know, after looking at East Coast Classics video, I mean, that looks like it's kind of on the, you know, kind of in that realm, but a little bit toward the higher end, especially for a white one. With the center caps that isn't more civilian looking. So just some interesting things there, interesting things I saw. It was definitely, it's always a fun experience going out there. Anyway, appreciate you guys checking out the video. Thanks for stopping by. Like if you like the video. Let me know if you want to see some more of these auction things. As I've noted before, whenever I do go to the auction, I make a lot of effort into not showing other people that are around. So I'll try to wait till the people are kind of away from the vehicles, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are kind of camera shy, and I don't want to put anybody in that situation. So if the volume's kind of goofy or you can't really hear me, it's because I'm trying not to be too loud and I'm trying not to get people on the video. So if you see things abruptly in, that's why. Anyway, appreciate you guys stopping by. Thanks for watching. Click like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell if you want the notifications. Love to all of you, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks. Yeah, this is the Florida I know right here. Wonder where your orange juice comes from? There it is. Rows and rows and rows and rows of orange trees. This is kind of what the middle part of the state looks like, not the touristy part. So thought you guys might get a kick out of that. Sorry if the window's kind of dirty. If I roll this window down at, I don't know how fast I'm going, like 50, it's going to create a lot of wind noise. There you go. Orange trees. So many orange trees. Road. More trees. So many.